Okay, this is so cool. How cool is this that we can connect this way and so easily? I started a business probably, oh my gosh, in 2009. So 7 years ago now. I've been riding since I was a kid. And I have a ton of family and friends who are totally not horse people. And I know a ton of people who are horse people, obviously. And I get this question a lot. Actually, two questions, I guess. What do you do? What do you do? I know that you have riders who compete, and I know that you are a horse trainer, but what do you do? And what is this horse showing thing all about? That's, what do you do at a horse show? So I guess the two questions are, what do I do, and what do we do when we go to a horse show? But I think I need to back up first and tell you a little bit about how I got started in this, because I wasn't born into a horse family. My mom and dad both liked the idea of horses, and my dad had friends who grew up on farms, but they were both from the city. Their parents were all immigrated from Europe. And so it wasn't like we were from a rural background or a farming background. My mom and dad had a dream of moving to an acreage, and when I was in grade 2, they did that. And across the road from us was a riding stable, a kid's riding stable, actually, that had Arabians, which is how I got into Arabians. It just was kind of fate. And they put us into riding lessons when we were kids, and we fell in love, and mom and dad started riding, and we bought a horse, and then we bought 2 and 3, because that's how it goes, because you can't just buy one. Don't get terrified if you just bought one. It's just kind of a joke among horse owners. And I rode all growing up. We did some showing. It was us and a group of kids we grew up riding with, and it was a great place to grow up, in the dirt, taking care of our horses, learning responsibility, building character, having successes, having major failures. We loved on our horses, and that was the thing that mattered the most. We spent all of our time at the barn. We slept there if we could, and we did, and we smelled like barn a lot, and I apologize to the people I went to school with for that, but we loved it. We loved it, and it was awesome, and it was amazing, and it changed a lot of the lives of a lot of the kids I grew up with, because they were there. And so as I got older and had my own kids, it was just shortly after I had our first son that I started thinking about doing this more seriously. I taught riding lessons in camps growing up, and through college, but it wasn't until I had my own kids that I thought, this is something that could be really compatible with my family, with the schedule. And I had this dream and this belief that there had to be some way to get people into the show ring who hadn't been in before, or who were a little nervous about getting into the show ring, or who didn't want to look at a place, but who still had a real passion for knowing their horses. And when you get into the world of horse showing, there's this fear in a lot of people that if you go to a horse trainer, or you don't do it on your own, that you're not going to learn, and that they're just going to take all of that opportunity away from you. They're going to do it for you, and they're going to send you off into the ring on a horse that you don't really know how it got there. And I had a real passion for creating real horsemen, real horsewomen, people who knew how to handle a horse, people who knew how to train a horse, and maybe even someday became horse trainers themselves. I wanted people to understand horse psychology. I wanted people to have a good understanding of riding and horsemanship, and also all of the great character development that comes with everything else, which is caring for your horse, feeding, turning them out, grooming, training, all of that, caring for a barn, caring for your stuff, all of that. And especially kids, but I have a lot of young adult riders, and that's, kind of been where my focus has been the last few years, but of course kids too, and I have my own kids, so it's great for them too. I also have been very committed along the way to not continue doing things that don't work. So we've had a lot of changes, and I know that people, sometimes that makes you look flaky. But every single change we've made for this team has been to ensure that it works, that the team works, that the training works, that our competitive preparation works. And I really had this vision that there was maybe kind of an between coming into riding on your own, learning on a horse in the backyard, getting it to a horse show somehow, and feeling really alone and really intimidated, and just dropping your horse off at the horse trainer and kind of stepping back and letting them completely take control. I felt like there had to be an in-between, somewhere where you could get some really good quality help, but you still had a role in the process of getting your horse ready for the horse show, and you still developed skill and confidence to, tackle problems on your own. And I don't want riders who can't come out and ride their horses on their own. Sometimes that happens for a while, but I don't want that to be our overall goal. I want, sometimes you need some intervention and you need somebody to help you or your horse. Sometimes there needs to be some clarity of communication. And anyways, so I really had this vision that there was a way to do this, to make it accessible for people, to give people value for what they were paying for, especially those people who wanted to still be involved. They still wanted to know how to do the behind the scenes stuff and get their horses there. But they just needed a team and needed some help. So whether you are a horse person or not, if you're watching this, you probably have some kind of interest, I'm assuming, if you didn't just look at it to see, how I looked, or, if I'd gained 5 pounds, or the reasons we all watch things on social media. If you weren't just being nosy, which is fine. Maybe you'll pick something up too, even if you were just being nosy. That's great too. Whether you're totally an outsider and you're like, what is this horse thing all about? Or you're somebody who has been riding for a long time, maybe you've been showing for a lot of years and you just haven't found a lot of success. Or you've been frustrated, or you feel like it's a waste of money, or it's way too much money for what you're getting out of it. Or you feel like you want more of a role, or you feel like you're not progressing, or you want to make a change and you don't know how or who to ask or what to ask, or what you're entitled to as a client, or, maybe what kind of fit is a good fit for you, horse, trainer. All of those things are important to think about. Where do you get started? Where do you just go to get started? That's some of the biggest obstacles for people, is just, I want to start showing. Where do I go? How do I get there? I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want someone to say, you're not good enough, or none of us want that. So where do you go? So I'd like to answer a bunch of questions like that. Over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about all of these things. I want to just really pull back the curtains and talk to you about what it is we do, what it is the horse showing thing is all about. Why is it so addictive for the people who do it? Why do we just feel like we want to go back and do more? And what is it about horses? I think, competition can be like that anyways, but what is it about competing with a horse that makes it a truly, truly unique experience? And what does it develop in people? I have such a passion for, especially with the way culture is kind of shifting towards really technology based. We sit a lot in front of computers, phones. That is the way we communicate with people. Sometimes we struggle to even communicate in real life settings at all. And man, do horses bring that out. They will show you fairly quickly where your communication obstacles are. So I just have such a passion, especially for young people, teenagers, young adults, to learn how to get in that arena and make a connection with a horse. Teaches us so many skills that extend so much further beyond the arena, and into so many other aspects of our life. For young people, it gets them off of social media, and it gets them out doing things that are healthy. It gets them into a team where I think for the most part, I don't know if all of the other teams out there are like this. I know that for us, drama is just a no-go. We don't do drama, not in real life, not on social media. So it's just a really healthy aspect of our team that really, it doesn't have a lot to do with horses, but man, is it refreshing. Kids deal with a lot of stress and a lot of pressure to fit in at school, online. And this is just a place where they can step out of that, where it's safe and where they're just going to learn a lot of great life skills and boundaries. So obviously, I'm super excited about this, and I really hope that you'll tune in. We're going to do a variety of things, some videos, some blogs, and just I hope get some really great information into your hands about what do we do, about what we do. So stay tuned. I'm really excited to get all of this stuff out to you in the next couple weeks.